Hi, I'm Jonathan Fanning, founder of Entrepreneur Adventure, owner of the Fun Bus New York, and really my background is in leadership development, especially management consulting in turnarounds in companies that need to make a big change, Fortune 500 companies, and then lots of those, and then lots of small companies as well. But I want to take some of that background in leadership development and bring it to you as a series of videos geared around something very, very, very important to me, near and dear to me, and that is helping people to become who they're capable of becoming. And in particular, you as a parent and your children. So the question, or the name of this series is called, Who Am I Becoming? Who are you becoming as a parent? And who are you helping your children to become? So let's start with two principles that are absolutely critical in this process of who am I becoming as a parent and who am I helping my kids to become. And the first one is something I agree with Jack Canfield, best-selling author, Chicken Soup for the Soul series, also a phenomenal book called The Success Principles. And Jack Canfield is a student of success and of people who have done unbelievable things in their life. And he has a concept that he calls E plus R equals O. And it means the E is event plus response equals outcome. And he uses this simple example. I'll give you the example from my world. You want to get an A in a class. An A in some high schools, most colleges is a 4.0, right? You want to get an A in a class. So you want a 4. The outcome is 4. The event would be the teacher, the circumstances, the subject. The response would be your personal response to that event that it takes to get a 4. So let's say the event is 2, you get a teacher that's a 2, class that's a 2, you have to put in 2 to get the 4 outcome. Let's pretend for a second, I had a teacher, 7th grade teacher, Mrs. Mail, never forget her. Science, biology, a lot of biology, and I remember, we'll never forget this. She had us singing, kingdom, phylum, class, order, family, genus, species, phylum, class, order, family, genus, species, and she would sometimes dance around the room singing this. And I remember one day we all did a Congo line around the room. Kingdom, phylum, class, order, family, genus, species. And I still remember it. That teacher was giving us more than 2. That teacher was giving us 3, 4, 3.5, was giving a lot of that 4. And almost every kid in that class did very, very, very well. A lot of A's in the class. And it wasn't because the class was easy. It wasn't a topic most people like. So that's an example of event giving a lot of the value, and the response, what you have to give, is not as much. The outcome can be a 4, can be an A. We've all probably, I'm sure, had the experience, I'm sure you've had the experience of having a teacher, maybe even a science teacher, that wasn't the 3 or 4, that maybe made the class so boring, so dry, so laborious, you hated it. Let's say they gave a 0 or a 1. Let's say they gave a 1 value, and you had to give 3 then. You had to pour so much more energy into the process to still get that 4. Some of us give the same response no matter what. And I see this with students in Entrepreneur Adventure programs, I see this with leaders in companies even. Some of us give the same 1 effort or 2 effort, whatever it is, no matter what. And then the response is dictated, the outcome is dictated more by the event than by our effort, because our effort doesn't change. So lesson number 1, point number 1, absolutely critical to who are you becoming and who are you helping your children to become, is responsibility. I'm responsible. I'm responsible. I want a certain outcome. I'm responsible for making that outcome work. I'm responsible. I see it in business all the time. My Fun Bus business, great example. Economy's been rough for the last 3 years, you could say. But our business has grown every single year for the last 4 years. Every single year. Our responses have been very different. The events have been, let's say they've gone from 3 to 2 to 1, let's say, right? So our responses have gone from 1 to 2 to 3, and actually more than that, because we wanted that 4 to go up. So part 1 is I'm responsible. I am responsible. And that's so critical, because as a parent, we want the best for our kids. I think we all want the best for our kids. But sometimes, I know I've done it, I forget that I'm responsible. I want someone else. I want the school to do more. I want a preschool to do more. I want a college to do more. I want less, commercials on TV. I want all these different events, and I'm forgetting about the response side. So part 1 is I'm responsible. With that in mind, part 2 says I'm responsible for who I'm becoming and who I'm helping my kids to become. And I say that very, very, very specifically and slowly because who am I becoming has to do with the character traits. See, Thomas Jefferson had a phenomenal line. He said, he wrote this in a letter, he wrote, there's a natural aristocracy among men, the grounds of which are virtue and talent. Natural aristocracy, meaning we end up in a different place, not because of a birthright aristocracy, we're given a title, but because of the virtue or character traits that we bring to something and the talent. So I really want to talk about the virtue or the character traits. Who am I? Am I a person of vision, of courage, of order, of honesty, I could go on, but the who am I becoming? And that's where I want to start. So the two things, part one, I'm responsible. And part two, let's start thinking through from a I'm responsible perspective, what character traits, what virtues do I want in my life? Which virtues, which character traits really matter to me as a parent, as a leader, and in my children? And start mapping them out. So here's my assignment. Top of the piece of paper, I'm responsible, and then right below that, the character traits that really matter to me and to us as a family. And start listing them out. And it's going to take probably a couple days to do this. So have the sheet maybe on the kitchen table, on the refrigerator, on an office desk, and add a couple things now and then. You might wake up 2 or 3 in the morning. I mean, I know I do with the 1-year-old sometimes. And have an idea. You know what? Go jot that down. So maybe, I mentioned courage, but maybe clarity of vision. Maybe someone who really, really stands for something. Maybe someone who has a level of humility and is willing to learn lessons. Maybe somebody who really deeply cares. Maybe those are some of the qualities you're going to put down. I don't know. Your qualities, not mine. But start mapping out the qualities that you stand for, and maybe you stand for today, and the ones that you really want to stand for, and then also those that your family stands for and those you want your family to stand for. So, in summary, part one is about I'm responsible, and taking that responsibility, what values do we want to build our whole family, our lives, and our children's lives around? Jonathan Fanning, founder of Entrepreneur Adventure. I hope this serves you.